Today we are going to see how structured data using SOLR is indexed. First we have to open command line to start SOLR. We have to remember the port number 8983 to start the SOLR in browser. Now we will write the localhost 8983. We can see the port number again 8983. Write it over here. Press enter. As you can see, we have entered into the SOLR portal. These are the codes that are already been present. We can write SOLR create -c, then the name of the code. Now we can see I have written over here IBM. This is the code name, and we have got a relevant message that we have successfully created our code in the XML format. We have to restart the SOLR again by SOLR stop all. Again we have to write SOLR start to restart it. Refresh the browser. As we can see, there are no codes. Refresh it. Now select the code. We can see that IBM is the code that we have selected. No data import are present over here, but we require to data import, as the data import function is to index the data. Now SOLR delete option can remove the code that we have created IBM. Again we have to restart it. We can see it is not been removed. Refresh it. Now IBM is been removed. As we have already created before an RCC taxi, it has data import. We have to add some files inside the code. Go to the SOLR, go to the server. Now go again to SOLR, RCC taxi, this is the code. Enter the configuration file. Now these three files are to be entered: Tika data config file, SOLR config, and schema file. There are some changes to be required in this also. This is the SOLR config file. These three lines are to be entered inside it, because these will connect to the SQL server. Before doing this, you have to install SQL JDBC 4 and JDBC drivers. These two are to be installed. Now we will have to enter the request handler over here. We have to give the name of the request handler and the configuration file Tika data config file. You can change the name, but you have to change the name over here also. As we have given the name Tika data config file, so we are giving the name over there also. This is the Tika data config file. Here we can see driver SQL JDBC driver is being used. The type of the JDBC data source. This is the URL that will connect to the database. Now database RCC taxi that have been created already beforehand in our SQL server. This is the schema file. This might not be present over there. You have to download it. As we are giving all this in the PPT, you can extract it from there. These three lines are to be entered over here. Go back. Now download the JDBC drivers. As I told before that you have to download it. Click on the first link. SQL Server 2012. Click on the first link. Over here we can see there are three downloads are given: 4.2, 4.1 and 4.0. I am downloading the only 4.0. I don't require the 4.2 and 4.1. So we will download these three. Next. As we have already downloaded beforehand, so we don't require to download it again. You have to copy those files and bring to the dist folder present in SOLR 3.31. These are the two that we just downloaded right now. Within this folder, this should be kept. See, these are the, and over here we can see the location are given already. SOLR install, then again test folder. Now open SQL Server Management Studio as well as the configuration manager also. Wait for some time, it might take time to load as we are doing for the first time, that's why. This is the management studio. Behind it, it's our configuration manager. I will tell you to say change something in the configuration manager. Now our SQL Server Management is open. This is our server name. We will give it Windows Authentication. Now this is the two server names that we have already created before, and over here also two present. Now we are giving the login. As we can see, SQL and SQL Express. Click on protocols. We have to enable that TCP IP port. Enable it. Then IP address. We have to enable all the ports and give the TCP port default number 1433. Remember this port because we are going to use this port in our Tika data config file. Okay. Again protocols. We have to enable this part also. Same as it is. Enable all the ports IP1 to IP10. All the ports that are given over here. And with the DCP port default 1433. Click on OK. Now we are set up our connection. Over here we can see that localhost JDBC server localhost 1433 is given. This is our server that we have localhost server that we have created over here. This is the entity name, or we can say our queries that have been written over here. Using these queries, we will connect our database. Connect the database engine by default with Windows Authentication. Open the database. From beforehand we have created RCC taxi. Open it. Now the tables. We can see the design over here that we have created. This is the name that have been given over here, RCC taxi. This is the design, name, role, depth, designation and phone number. We are giving the same field names over here and the table also, because the table name is given over there taxi. This is the query written to select the contents of the table. Now we will write a new query, same way as we did in the before using SQL Server, how to use SQL Server in our video. use RCC taxi, or we can just directly write select start from taxi. For taxi is a table. Execute. There are no data present in our table, so we have to insert the data. We will use the option insert, use RCC taxi, bulk insert into taxi, because bulk insert gives us the whole data from a text file to our table. It will load the whole data, but in the table format. I already told you beforehand, the data should be stored in a table format. This is the database and this is in the table format. Over here we have used the bars for the field terminators, so that it will be able to understand that these are the field terminators and it will terminate the field. We are writing over here with field terminators and giving bar. Execute. Now we have got a relevant message that we have already entered our rows. We can check it again by giving the select option to display the. Click on execute. Now these are the data that we have entered from a text file. Now our data is successfully stored in our table. These are the field names. Now in schema file, I already told you to change the some contents, and why we have changed these contents I am showing you over here. These are the field name that is been accessed in a text general format. As we can see, type text general is written over here. Now we have done our development part and to index. Now we will stop our SOLR and restart it again. Now go to browser, wait for some time, wait for the message to give you that SOLR has been started. Yes, the SOLR is started. Now you can refresh it again. Click on auto refresh, click on taxi entity. We are refreshing it again to check whether we have, as we've entered the data, so we require to refresh it again. Refresh it again. Yes. Now data import, entity taxi, execute. As we have given the name over here, entity taxi. Execute. Over here we have start the indexing part. As we can see that it has given us a message that 55 rows are been entered. Now we will check whether all the data are been entered or not. So we can again write the display content code to check whether the data are been entered or not, or indexed or not. Execute. Over here, go to the last row. We can see that 55 rows are there only, and 55 rows are been fetched and processed also successfully. Now change the URL, write browse. Over here from this we can browse our data and these are the data that are being indexed, and they are indexed in the format of table format. We can see it over here also. We can search it also by writing the field name and with the relevant text to be searched in a particular field. We are giving some examples, you can see, and we are getting the results over here. If we want to search by phone number or department number, this gives us the time of searching it has been taking to search a particular string inside our table. We can copy it and paste and check it again. You have to remember that it should be given within the double quotes. Yes, it is giving us a relevant message. This is the word string that we want to search. Now all the CSC 2014 roll number regarding that, all the second year students are showing. By phone number also it can be searched. If you want to search by IT, it will give only one ID because only one student is present by its name IT. If you want to search it by phone number, copy and paste it. Click. Again we have to change, do it with double quotes. Thank you for watching.